We have some. September 17th. Did you guys read them online or?
No.
Okay, I'll give them to you. I had two corrections on number 7. They spelled Canaan wrong. In the second word. And then on number 9, we
So are you making a motion that we approve with those corrections?
no, I'm gonna let you read them.
Oh.
I'm just discussing them ahead of time because I quick like that. Because I'm trying to beat you to some change.
Did it say selectmen again?
No, well, I don't know. I don't mess around with that. You see anything?
What's that?
You see anything in them?
Did I see them? I read them on but I could on my phone.
When Monica very nicely sends them out 4 days ahead of the meeting.
I apologize for not reading them on.
Yeah, it's because he lost internet.
I have a motion to accept the meeting rules. The other change I had was on article number 9. Roger put down that we went into non-public after the meeting, which we did not. So,
I'll move to accept with changes.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Aye. So,
We have non-public minutes too. We do not.
No.
All we did, the pre-one we did the last time was the, when we got the information for the hires.
Yes.
Right.
Are we online?
Yes.
accepting the 2023 auditors report.
Yeah, I sent that to you a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
We resent it and the request that we have to finalize so that I could sign it. So it's 175 pages. It's not printed for you.
Yeah.
And basically, I just need authorization to accept the auditor's report as presented.
Are we gonna get a chance to, I know they're shorthanded, but I'd like to have them come in.
Yeah, he's still gonna come in and
Okay.
we're gonna have a conversation about it, but the audit,
Okay.
we're not making any
Right.
changes in the report itself.
Right, understood.
I'll move to accept.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the $5,000 donation, do you have that?
Yep, we had Mrs. Lola Baldwin. Is making a tax-free charitable donation from our IRA account. To the town of Canaan. The amount of the check is $5,000. We have to sign and accept. The actual donation. And I would need authorization to do so, and then also. Where would we want to allocate that money to? We did talk about this, would we want it just to go to the general fund? I don't think that's necessarily best, but we have a couple of other functions that are going on, whether it's the meeting house. Or the community center or something like that, the select board could choose to allocate it to one of those locations, and I think that was. What we wanted to have a conversation about.
And she doesn't indicate anything.
She does
No,
not.
it's just to the town of Canaan.
That's very generous.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion that we accept the gift of $5,000.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'd like to see it go to the community center, but that's fine.
I was gonna say the meeting house as a Canaan Street person.
That was what my thought was.
Isn't the meeting house like almost done with all their fundraising?
No.
No, for the first round.
Oh,
They've got a
first
long
round.
list
Yeah.
of stuff.
I just saw the thing about the update.
Yeah.
Or the museum, we think is going to need substantial work. Once they tear the few boards off.
At the budget committee meeting last night, $10,000 was allayed to that function. The potential for repairs there.
For the museum.
If we exceed the $10,000, we then hit the capital funding line. Which means then we can go to the government buildings. Capital reserve fund, so. That is covered either way at this point, so. And there also is the possibility you could say, well, we'll put 2,500 to the community center, and 2,500 to the meeting house, you could, whatever you want to do. But those are the two causes I thought of that would. Be the best use of this type of donation.
I mean, the last place she lived in Canaan was almost right across from the meeting house, so
I'm okay with that.
The meeting house,
I like the meeting house. I'll move that we designate that to the meeting house.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Lola.
Yes, thank you, Lola.
Just wanted, the budget committee has announced its public hearing.
Yep.
Its public hearing date will be on the 16th at 7:30 in this location. The planning commission will be meeting from 6 to 7 or so, so we're starting the hearing at 7:30. In addition, we're required to hold a hearing for the bond we're proposing, as well, for the road reconstruction. And that will be also set for the same date and time, because we don't know which one will end and how long they will take. We do have to have them all done. Like the week after that, and the attorney suggested we may give ourselves a week in case we have a snow day or something else that precludes us from having the meeting, so.
We scheduled them both at 7:30?
Yep. Which
Okay,
it's very common because if you try to guess the second time,
yeah,
you're usually wrong.
okay.
So
I just had a resident that emailed me and I said, oh no, that was a mistake. We're going to repost. So I will let them know that I was mistaken.
basically, we're gonna have everybody come at 7:30 and then we're gonna have one public hearing, open, close, and then start the next.
7:30 or 6:30?
7:30.
It was reposted at 8 o'clock this
We
morning.
were
Planning-
starting, we were
planning
gonna
board-
have it.
planning
No, I
in
board.
thought I heard you say
The
6:30.
the planning board meets at 6, so.
Planning board meets at 6 or 7.
No, that shouldn't be right. That's, the 16th is the third Thursday of the month. We need the second and fourth.
Second and fourth?
We were told that they were having a meeting then.
That-
Well, I think John Bergeron is on, but my understanding is we're meeting the 9th and the 23rd.
Last night,
So
John
planning
thought it was next week, but it. John's on.
Is John still on?
Yeah.
I think so. Can you hear us, John?
I mean, we've always met the second and fourth Thursday. And the 16th is the third Thursday. So, or, yeah, third Thursday. So you shouldn't have to start later.
That would be
planning.
fantastic if we could start earlier.
Well, that's.
John
Flat
Berger.
Well, the only thing it caused, and actually, the only one we probably may be able to change is the budget committee one, because this one's being
Already
published.
put in the paper.
It's,
Yeah.
and we've sent it to the paper.
We get so many days for it to be posted.
It has to be posted at least 7
You have
days.
to have
prior.
7 days. Not including the day of
Okay,
posting.
so either way, it's gonna be at 7:30.
Yeah, okay, just trying to help.
Should have been at last night's meeting, then
Yeah.
we'd be good.
Where were you?
Don't you go to all the meetings?
Did another damn meeting.
It was initially this text.
Priorities.
Okay, so the 16th at 7:30.
Yes.
Which one will we do first?
I would assume people are gonna, most of the people will stay for both. 6/3, the budget committee. Is just doing the budget. They're doing their public hearing for the budget. I would think that would be the lesser conversation, to be
Mhm.
honest. It should be the first one, I would think.
Yeah, we typically have 0 to 1 people.
Right, I think everybody's gonna come for the other piece of it.
Okay, so we'll do that for- okay,
Yeah.
So that would be my guess.
okay.
Great. Everybody square on that. Personnel update.
Personnel update, well, that's one, and
Yep.
I wanted to start with, we did receive the resignation letter from Vicky McAllister.
Yep.
Want to thank her for her service, she's been the
Agreed.
town clerk for years, and then now the deputy
Assistant.
clerk. But she's moving to other pastures at this point, so we are in the process of looking for the deputy.
Correct.
Deputy town clerk. So just wanted to let you know that, and then secondly, we've made 2 hires in the EMS department, and Steve Kulatz, and I don't know if I said that right. Is our operations manager, and he has started, and we've been meeting and going over some things that are changed, and then there's also an additional EMT that Steve can introduce.
It'll be Drew. Unsure of his start date at the second.
Okay. Congratulations.
Drew Toma.
Thanks for stepping up and joining that position.
And-
I know you've worked for us for a while, but.
And things are going really well. We're getting all the information we need. Jordan has been great with helping get everything set up on the other side as this transition goes
Yeah.
on. So I think all things going right now in a positive direction.
Good. And do we have an idea of how long Jordan will stay on helping out? Just,
Based on the fact that we've had some more conversations with our billing group. It appears we're gonna be able to get some additional information, additional things that we can do for reporting, so it may be less time than we originally thought.
okay. Good.
That's where it stands right now.
From a financial perspective,
I
good.
agree, and I think it will be sooner than later that we'll be on our own, but there's just a few things out there we wanna make sure. There's some billing over the last 60 days that we gotta just make sure all those loose ends are tied up.
Okay. Yes, Bob.
Susan Pheasant Lane. Did Jordan resign too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jordan moved on in the end of November. She resigned and took a job at Dartmouth.
And Steve has been with us a couple of years.
I think I've hit my 2-year mark now, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's been staying on doing billing and things like that part-time.
I was listening to the conversation trying to piece it
Yeah,
together.
yep. Yeah, so again, congratulations, Steve.
And you can thank your wife for not accepting the position she was going to, so you're back here.
Warrant article update, so these have all gone to the, or most of these have gone to the lawyer, the ones that are highlighted in green, the crowd doesn't have a group of these. They're not final by any means, they won't be final for another week or so. We are looking at, you wanna just talk about some of the strange ones?
Yeah, I mean,
Go
basically,
through the-
at this
the
time,
Equipment lease one is specifically,
yeah, we have,
Change.
the ones that are a little different than normal, the first 6 are standard, that's just general fund, water and sewer and things like that. Number 7 is the additional $97,000 for the water loan.
Yeah.
What happened when we did the special meeting hearing with the judge in the summer? We made that petition in June. And the engineer's estimate had the $2.94 million in there, which was the 1.47 million of EPA grant funding. And the it was actually, when you did the math, it was 690,000. The grant approval we got from SRF from the state was for 780,000. But the amount of money that was planned for the project was put in there. After the judge granted the special meeting, the SRF group came back to us and said, well, you can't use the whole 780 because you only approved the 690. So we need you to put another warrant article out for the additional 90. And this is money that we don't necessarily know that we're going to need. Okay, and they had the warrant, they had the petition for a month or a month and a half before that when we got it. It's also when they made us change the phrase from a grant to principal forgiveness.
right?
So as a result, and the only reason this matters at this time is because unless we do it as part of this grant fund or this principal forgiveness fund, we would not get the 71% forgiveness. So technically, if we had to use this 90,000, 71% of it won't be used. It would only be the 29%. So we just have to, this is a technical issue so that they can amend the grant fund that we get the full amount. So that's how that went.
Got it.
Article 9 that I have right now is revising the 2024 already approved equipment leases, just doesn't change anything in the budget. But what's happened is because of all the lead time issues, we've received the 2 pieces of construction equipment, which is the grader and the backhoe, but we're not gonna see the trucks till sometime this summer. So we had to create 2 leases. So basically, we're going from 1 lease to 2, same amount of money. So we're just getting that authorized so that we are able to start making the payments the correct way. Because we have to get bond counsel approval.
Okay.
To give the legal opinion. So this comes from them.
One question, Chet.
Yep.
Where the second lease now starts 1 year later, is that still a 7-year lease
Yes,
to end 1 year past the?
Yep.
Okay.
and just a couple other things. We have there's just the regular appropriation of the highway capital, but we're going to recreate the Highway Capital Road Reconstruction Fund is the goal.
Mhm.
For the first year, we're just gonna put $10,000 into it. But because we have all of the money is actually in the general fund budget, that's the paving and the gravel project, so we have to spend from there this year and wait a year to use the other, because if this was not approved, we wouldn't have the money. We're not allowed to transfer from one to the other.
Okay,
So that's just another one. Then there's the road reconstruction bond, which I have listed at $1.8 million right now. We have $400,000 planned for the road that's in the operations budget. So it's actually a $2.2 million project,
Mhm.
but the bond amount would be 1.8 at this time. Some of the numbers I just got may push that up a little bit, and we may have to do some decision making as to we want to pull the project back a little. But the goal of this bond is to ensure that we get caught up a little bit with some of our drainage and our road construction. And still pay for it out of the money that's already in the budget. Like if you went to the default budget, this money is already still in there that would be making the money. Paying the bills for this, so it's no additional cost to the tax rate. It's basically using a funding mechanism that will help us get a little bit of a catch up, and then we'll have the payment going on for the 10 years, but we could still be doing other projects at the same time within that funding level. So, and we'll be having that public hearing on the 16th.
7:30.
Well, the good thing is when you look at the plan, and we'll be able to put it up there. It's all within that same amount of money. So the goal is not changing the appropriations annually, other than if we have some inflation and things like that. So the $400,000 we're putting in there now, we will be paying this out of that.
I'll wait till Thursday.
Yeah.
It just don't make sense, 8 and 12 miles of road all at once.
Well, the issue is if we do it, we actually we put it in the program to say, what if we just waited and put the 400,000 a year? It would take us about 7 years to get it all done. And that's the problem, which means we're falling that much further behind on everything else. It's a one-time
5
little
years,
catch up.
5 years when them roads are jumped. You got 3 roads that are jumped.
These three,
Yeah,
they won't be done.
wanna bet money on it?
Yep. I've done it
Bet
before.
money on it.
I've done it before.
Then you better increase your budget
Well-
more than $2.8 million. If you wanna keep your road going right.
No, I know. I know what's involved.
Well,
That's okay.
Also, I just want to point out that for the last 10 or 12 years, the town didn't pave with the base coat and the finish coat. Ever. And we are doing it that way now, but
That's
it's not 10 miles of road either. I think it's like, we
It's
talked
five-
about it last night,
Five.
yeah, so, and we had a bid already for the pavement, so we know what.
Right, but so there's more that goes along with that,
Yep.
just top coat and base coat.
understood.
And there is gravel reconstruction and all the infrastructure is being replaced.
Yeah,
So that's all part of this.
And who's doing the work?
If it's the regular culverts. It will be town staff. If it's the other ones, we're gonna be having to put them out to bid, the bigger ones. There's 5.
Who's gonna redo the gravel and all the stuff that you say is getting redone?
Well, there's a lot of ledge out there. We're gonna be doing some of the gravel.
So the rest of the roads are gonna be just like it was before. 'Cause
No.
You're gonna have the town crew working on it and nothing else is gonna get done.
No.
Why we ended up in a situation we're in.
We have already looked at all of those options and we will have that conversation. But we're gonna be, it's about a month's worth of. Or 2 months worth of culvert replacement. But we have 2 crews that will be operating, so we're fully staffed at this point, so I think we'll be okay. But Article 14 is about purchasing a fire truck. We're actually purchasing a fire truck in 2026. In 2025, because we have to order it a year ahead of time. This is a 1998 we're replacing.
Mhm.
And in order to order it, we have to have voter approval, but it's gonna be expended in 26 out of the same capital reserve fund. That the fire department has, so it's
Right.
not gonna be an additional expense. But we are looking to get that approval to get that ordered.
How much will be paid out of the reserve account in 25? None?
In total, Oh, none in 25,
Okay, the 26.
26.
I just want to make sure that the trust fund investments are reduced to cash when you,
Right. Yeah, we'll give you
okay,
a schedule, because the one we ordered this past year, I think that was a 500 day, so it's basically gonna be almost into 26 as well, when it's already ordered, so. There are two funds that have, well, one is being reinstated, it's gotta be removed and reinstated. And that's because it was approved and actually written correctly. But the fund was never sent to the DRA, and they've told us it doesn't exist, and our auditor has said it doesn't exist, we don't have a fund. So we have to create the government buildings capital reserve fund. As part of that. And then we're gonna have to do the same thing with the police department. The police department in 2012 had a warrant article that was ordering a new cruiser. As in that warrant article, they basically said, and this money will come from a newly created reserve fund, but it didn't have any purpose. It didn't have any of the it didn't meet any of the requirements of an actual fund. We actually never created the fund. They just said they were gonna move it there.
Got
So
it.
we have to delete it, create it,
And fund it.
and then buy a police cruiser and out of that, so there'll be three
Well,
warrant
and they'll also
articles.
change it from just not police cruisers, it's gonna be.
Yeah, and it's all
Capital.
capital equipment.
Right.
So the modification when we create the new one.
So what's different this year? Like, if this one was created 10 years ago, why now are we just finding out? What's?
Because the capital budget committee, when we were going through the budget, we were looking at making sure that we had a good definition that was gonna be consistent. The town had a budget or a capital requirement of like $5,000 expense and certain amount of years. The auditor was using a 20-year cycle. So none of these things matched. So I said, when we talked to in the capital budget beginning, what do you consider capital? And it was like $10,000 and more than a 5-year life. You know, that's kind of the new definition we're using. And when you look at it that way, and you look at things and the police is the easiest one to do. But between the cruiser cameras and the body cameras, that's over $100,000 every 5 years. So we wanted to be able to buy all capital equipment, not just cruisers.
Okay, but what about the one that said we never actually established it? How did we not realize that until now?
Which
You said that there was one that was never.
The
even-
building,
well, that one is. It was never sent to the DRA. We created it here. We got approved. Somebody opened the account. But it never was authorized.
But no,
So
one-
DRA just noticed that this
yeah,
year.
that's what I'm asking, like, why just now?
Carrie Ann's not, Carrie Ann, are you on there? Forget. No. No.
She had enough.
The,
last night.
it was an issue of. Again, the questions and when we were going through all of these things. And Carrie Ann sent a couple of questions to the auditor and he goes, that doesn't exist.
Oh, okay.
I think it wasn't picked up because they never, it wasn't there for them to pick up on.
Okay.
And we also have a warrant article for the townwide reappraisal.
Yeah.
Basically, last year, the town put in $20,000 into the revaluation fund. We received a letter from the state that our CLA has gotten spread enough that it's a 0.74, which means we're at 26% low. That they want us to do it in 25. We were budgeting half of the difference. We did get a quote from our assessor. It's $75,000, so we took $55,000, split it in half. 27.5 is in the operations budget, and 27.5, we're asking the voters, do they want to authorize the reevaluation for the additional $27,000? Which would then meet the requirement that the state put together. But it is, money that was gonna put a big dent in things if we put it just right into the budget, so we figured voter approval would work better. The community center one is the one that wasn't sent to the state. I apologize, I did that backwards. the community center capital reserve fund, so we're deleting that, recreating it and funding it as well. There'll be a couple of warrant articles tied to that.
Why does that one say majority vote required?
These were just notes that I left in there right now. That'll all be
Thank you.
gone. Yeah, this is a draft. I just have things that I make sure, because there is, the bond article is a 2/3.
Okay,
So I just want to make sure we keep those things straight. 27. Authorize the sale of town-owned land. The Route 118 gravel pit is something that we purchased 4 or 5 years ago. It was a purchase of $185,000. We had $9,000 of legal fees. We're about $194,000 into it. And it is no longer, it can't be used as a gravel pit or a sand pit. It doesn't meet any of the requirements, and we were actually just putting more dirt on our roads, which was not helping mud season. So it's been discontinued. And we are asking the voters to authorize the sale of it. We have too many pieces of property that are now outside the tax base. We have about 34 that are owned by the town that have been taken. Some of them were taken in tax sales and things like that, but all of this is affecting the amount of properties that are actually paying tax to the town. And we are purchasing a loader, this time with cash, not a lease, and a 1-ton as well. And then Article 31 is the fire department organizational change for fire chief, which is actually an RSA change. Where we're gonna go to from a volunteer put forth to the town to an actual hired position that's an employee of the town. So those are the highlights for this year, and then there's the regular appropriations that are in there.
Good. Very good.
so what do our meetings look like next week? We meet Tuesday or Wednesday?
Wednesday is a budget committee meeting to go over warrant articles. And
Okay.
Thursday is the 2 public hearings.
But when does the select board vote on the proposed warrant articles?
Our next meeting.
Our next meeting after?
Well, and I'll double check that. We can just warn Wednesday, and you guys could do a double meeting and we just do it all at once.
I think historically it's always been the select board made their recommendations first, right?
I don't recall.
I don't know if it matters. I just think that that's,
They're meeting their requirement because the 14th is the last day for petitioned articles.
Mhm.
And they didn't want to have their review of articles until then. But
Well, you really
we can
can't.
however you want to do that. Because I know last year the warrant articles weren't done till like the end of January, I'm not sure, so. But I want to make sure we have all this lined up.
I guess I thought we had to, there's a date of when the deliberative session is and then everything backs up into that.
Yes,
So I thought we had to vote prior to the budget committee public hearing, but I'm not sure. That's historically what we've done.
okay,
Makes sense.
I just want to double check. So,
and I will double check that, and if we do, we'd have to have a quick special meeting on Tuesday.
okay.
That, or do we just start at 6 the night of the hearings?
I think we're starting at 6 on Wednesday. What time are we starting on Wednesday?
6.
It is 6?
Wednesdays at 6, yeah.
So if we can go through it before the budget meeting goes on Wednesday, that would be better.
John Bergeron's on if you wanted to talk to him about the 16th.
I don't think he didn't, when we asked him before, he didn't respond.
So
I just sent an
Does Wednesday,
email.
the Wednesday
Yeah, he
before?
responded during the.
Meeting at 5?
Did he?
Yeah, he did want me to tell you that it was her intent to
Yeah.
send.
Want to meet?
two
At this
meetings.
point, yeah.
Okay.
I gave up to.
It was her intent, I sent to the meeting house, the donation.
Oh. But he didn't say planning board.
No,
No,
But we decided we had to have it at
So it's already
7:30
been
because
Public.
Right.
Monica looked
Because he
very
already
stressful.
knows.
Okay, so what is Wednesday's date? The 15th?
yes.
yes.
Yes, I can meet at 5.
So let's do a select board meeting at 5
Okay.
for voting on the warrant articles.
So we'll spend 2 full nights here in a row.
Will be.
Bring the
Exciting.
sleeping bag.
Yeah.
They've got bunk room in the.
I have to pay for this.
Wednesday at 5, right?
5, yeah. Thank you, Monica.
Well,
You have an update, or have you already done it?
The only other thing that I have was, just letting you know the heat at the sewer plant building is gone. He's running with some space heaters. Evidently at the water break, they went to use the pump, it was frozen. So we need to get the heater done. I don't have the proposal yet. We're gonna have to put a modine in the garage and then they need to fix the heat in the main building. But it is something we have to do and just letting you know that I think we're gonna have to do that. I'm getting the price. And I'll let you know when I have it. We put it in there. We'll just need a PO signed and we gotta get some heat in that building.
Okay.
And it's about a 25 or 30-year-old setup.
Is it the original?
No, it's the second one. from what I understand.
And we're running space heaters
Like electric plug-in
when nobody's
toasters.
there and just,
Yes.
Nothing can work there. Cold weather will bring on the best.
Yeah, well, I had no idea until this happened and then I heard that. How did the pump freeze? I was like, I don't know.
I want to publicly thank Town Road Crew and John and Mason for working 2 days out in the cold and getting that break fixed, so I do appreciate it. I was away, so it didn't bother me at all, but.
that's terrible weather to have
Yeah.
to be out there,
Yeah.
so thank you.
Any other business? Monica?
We have the Community Powers final public hearing tomorrow night at 3 o'clock here.
That's freestanding on their own because they've already done one with the select board, right?
Yep.
Okay. Bob?
I have a letter for you guys from the Old Home Days Committee, just trying to give you all the dates for stuff for next year, just to make it easier for you guys to
Perfect.
plan around this.
All right.
So you were Chet.
Monica.
It'll go to him anyways, then to Monica probably. So. First week of August still?
Yeah, and I don't know who this lady was that, and, oh, it's my wife. That's why I brought it.
You see her now and then?
Yeah.
Anyone else? Thanks all for coming out. I appreciate
I
it.
got something.
Go ahead,
Something like-
Wes.
I would like to ask where we're using this 3/8 stone to sand the roads. If we could put a little bit less on, cause my $10,000 car, I mean, my brand new car that I just bought 3 months ago. I really don't wanna have to put rock panels on it. Cause the road tires that I bought is picking up all that stone and throwing it underneath my car and it's bouncing off the bottom.
Okay. What, all dirt roads you're talking about?
Dirt roads, the tower roads, I mean, there's some spots that it's like 1/2 inch thick.
Okay.
Some of it's getting them dialed in, trained to use it.
I'm just asking, I just don't.
Can you reach out to Bob directly and, because, I mean, I'll talk to him, but,
I mean,
And what you'll find is because we had the same issue another place where I was when we did this. When you drop regular sand down, it changes the color a lot.
I understand.
They tend to put that much down that changes the color. You don't need as much. It is a learning.
Yeah,
It
it's
is a
a-
learning curve.
Yes.
I'm just asking.
Okay.
Yep,
'Cause
no, we will review
I
that.
just don't
Yeah.
wanna, like, peel the rock panels off my brand new car. Cause then I have to listen to my woman.
I wanna know where, I wanna know where you got a brand new car for
We don't
$10,000.
wanna cause
Well,
that.
I meant.
New to him.
In a Couple months, it's got 10,000 miles.
Oh, okay.
So.
All right, yeah, I'll bring it up to Bob and I'm sure Chet will as well.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, everyone. Motion to adjourn
So moved.
and go into non-public. I've got something quick.
Okay, motion to go into non-public.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everyone.
I've just got to see Philip for 1 second.
Sure.